everyone, my name is Hutch and I hope that you're doing alright. Welcome to all the new people that have subscribed recently. I'm really happy to have you here. Like I said, my name is Hutch and I have a special interest in The Sims. I mainly build, but I plan to start a Let's Play soon. And I also have some Sims 2 stuff planned. But yeah, with that being said, for the month of October, I will be doing a bunch of builds inspired by spooky season and autumn, or fall if you call this time of year fall. I'm from England, so we call it autumn. And yeah, this build is no exception. So as you can tell from the title, I decided to call it a haunted English church, and I called it an English church because a lot of churches here look like this. I'll put up a couple of reference images that I use for this build, but I want to add that I'm not like religious or anything. I don't know much about these types of churches or like places of worship, and like the difference between like a church and a chapel and a cathedral and all that sort of stuff. Like, I've just approached this purely as a builder in The Sims, not like a historian or an RE teacher or anything like that. I've been in churches like this at weddings, funerals, christenings, whatever, but this church isn't representative of any like denomination of Christianity or anything like that. It's purely for fun, so it's not an accurate, if it's not an accurate representation of a church, it's fine. I just looked up reference images on the exterior, and I know that there's a difference between like Gothic churches, for example, as opposed to say churches built in the Victorian era, but I'm just going purely off memory and some pictures. Plus it's The Sims, there's no organised religions unless you use mods, so it's fine. But yeah, I hope this looks like a church. It's a very simple shape, and I think what's happened is, as I've stared at it so much with like building, it started to not look like a church anymore, because I've just been adding more details as like time's gone on, and I think I've just, I don't know, kind of got consumed by this one. It's one of those builds where I just kept adding like more things and changing things, and eventually I got to the point where I had to make myself stop building because I would still be building it now if I hadn't. And yeah, I just wanted to keep adding more details and like more plants and more little bits to make it look more haunted, but eventually you just have to stop building, don't you? So I built this house, and I say house because it's a haunted residential lot, but I built it with vampires, get together and Discover University, and the lot details will be in the description because once again I haven't wrote down what the lot size is, but it's in Forgotten Hollow. So it's classed as a haunted residential lot, like I said, but you could change it to a generic lot if you wanted to, like use it as a graveyard, because the idea was it could be used by Sims like in the game. So we don't have a graveyard or cemetery type lot, but if you have an urn in your Sims inventory and you go to like a generic lot or whatever, or like a park, you can put the urn down and have it as a gravestone and have your Sims visit that gravestone if they want to. I don't know why there isn't a cemetery lot type or graveyard. And what even is the difference between a graveyard and a cemetery? Let me look that up actually, because that's going to annoy me. Okay, so according to this article I found on beyond.life, I think it's like an after death service for like writing wills and arranging funerals and all that. But according to this article, although the words graveyard and cemetery are often used interchangeably in everyday speech, traditionally speaking, graveyards are run by the church and may be attached to a church or chapel. Graveyards would therefore usually stipulate that only Christians can be buried within the grounds. Cemeteries, on the other hand, are run by the council, welcome all faiths, and have a more relaxed rules regarding headstones. So yeah, that's interesting, I didn't know that. I'd call them all graveyards usually, I think, and I didn't know that, which is weird because like it's not weird, but like my granddad is buried in a cemetery, and I know that that's run by the council and it's not near like a church or anything, so I guess like I should have known really. But yeah, I wondered why it's called a cemetery and not a graveyard. I thought it was one of those things where it's like cemetery is the official name for it and then people call it graveyard like colloquially or something. Like I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but I guess graveyard sounds a bit morbid in a way. Like cemetery is like, oh, it's official, it's like that's the actual term, but graveyard is like the term that people just use it because, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? It's a place full of graves. But yeah, I guess you learn something new every day, don't you? Although this might be one of those times where everybody in the world knows the difference and I don't. But anyway, what was I even saying before I went on that like little tangent? Oh, cemetery lot type. So yeah, I wish that we had that. But if you do want to build a cemetery like on your own, you can do that by just setting the lot to like a generic lot type in the lot panel. I just set this one to haunted residential so that I can move in a sim and get screenshots and everything. It just makes it easier, and then like have ghosts and everything. But yeah, the idea was to build a church and have it be a haunted one, which I find churches to be quite spooky, to be honest. I've never been inside any other place of worship, but looking at pictures of like a mosque, for example, they don't give off like the same vibe at all. I think it's just because churches are used more in like horror films and stuff, like that film, like the original Omen. The church that's in that is absolutely terrifying. So yeah, I think it's just like pop culture influencing my I'm going to say fear, but it's not really fear because I'm not really scared of them. I guess they just give me more of like a, ooh, that's a bit creepy sort of feeling. I am not good at explaining feelings at all, sorry. But basically I think I have, I'm not sure, but I think I have this thing where you can't like explain feelings very well, or you can't like identify your feelings, and you're not good with using language to explain them. But yeah, I had to cut out a bit of footage here and there because placing those columns, it was such a ball ache, oh my god, and it took me ages to figure out like the small details, but I got there in the end, and I really like how the tower bit is. I guess that would be like a bell tower, would it? I'm not really sure, but it's not a bell tower in this case. And we're going to do like add stairs to it, like going up and do different levels, but I gave up on that idea because I had that thought like at the end of the build. I was just sort of finishing up and it was like, oh, why don't I just fully decorate the tower and put different levels on it and stuff? And then I thought, no, actually, because I'll never get this build done for Friday then if I do that. Also, this voiceover is going to be a little bit short today because I'm really busy and it's already like nearly 2 p.m. It's like 10 to 2 as I'm recording this, and I'm going to be doing the school run soon. But I've got a couple of mates coming to visit and they're staying over and everything, and I've not seen them for God, I don't even know how long it's been actually, but they live like down south and I'm obviously a northerner, but we don't see each other that often, and it's been even longer with like the past 2 years, everything that's been going on, so that'll be nice and I'm looking forward to it actually. We're gonna make cocktails and like order Chinese food and play Mario Kart hopefully, and yeah, should be a laugh. But I've just been like proper busy like sorting the house out, and I had a boiler engineer come out today because our hot water has been like up and down. Basically it was like getting hot and then it'd go really lukewarm and then go hot again, so it was just like, I don't know, it was just frustrating because you'd like run a bath and then it'd go cold and you just have to like mess about and that. But apparently there were like this valve that needed replacing, so I basically had to stop everything while the engineer fixed that. I couldn't exactly record a voiceover with them like banging about in background. And also imagine if you just go to someone's house to fix a boiler and they go into a room and start talking to themselves. Be a bit weird, wouldn't it? But oh my god, as well, speaking of weird, can't believe I forgot to say it. I was gonna like mention it before now, but I'll just talk about it now. But if you watched my last video and you listened to me on about that pigeon that flew into my kitchen window and I like chucked coffee all over and that, you'll never guess what happened this morning. Only another bird flew into the same window again. I was laid in bed, it was like coming up to 8 o'clock, and this was this morning, and I heard this loud bang, and straight away I knew what it was because it sounds a bit like a football hitting like the window if you've ever heard that noise before. But yeah, went into the kitchen, another mark on window from a bird. No sign of bird this time though, but like what is going on with these birds? Like what are the actual chances of that happening twice in like 1 week, same window? I didn't get a picture this time. I think I put one on my last video, but I didn't get one this time because where it is you can't really get a picture of the mark without showing my neighbour's garden because of like the angle and that. But mate, honestly, birds around here like not right, are they? But yeah, I thought, oh my god, as if that would happen again. It proper, like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, what's going on? Anyway, with that weird little story out the way, I'm going to end the voiceover here and leave you with the rest of the video. I will say though that I haven't playtested this build beyond getting screenshots, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to have a sim access the coffin, but they can get downstairs to the basement bit or cellar. I don't really know the difference, but anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you thought to the build, and don't forget that you're always welcome to leave build suggestions in the comments if you like to. I hope that you all have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you next week. Bye!